Hello class, I welcome you all to this session. In the last class, we have completed the employees benefit expenses, finance cost and depreciation and amortization, as well as other expenses. There are few problems that is not being worked out in your textbook. I want you to work it out as a homework, okay? And if you are not getting any answer, you can just send me a text. Okay, so we are moving towards miscellaneous problems. This is the last part of your chapter. I promise that with this we will work out one full-fledged problem and then we will wind up with the session. Okay, yeah, so carrying on with the miscellaneous problem, under which line item I've just written the questions. Here, okay, for us to solve. Under which line item of the financial statements following item will be shown. You have the scrap sale. Now many students can make this mistake. Scrap scale, it's not sales, it is just a scrap sale. Say for example, in your manufacturing, you incur some sort of scrap, wastage, okay, that has a value in the market. Okay, say for example, you are into this production of metal sheets. Okay, metal sheets. Now you want to cut in a particular centimeter. You need to make a particular centimeter. This particular part is a waste. Now this part has a economic value. Say for example, 1 ton of this scrap may be sold at rupees 50,000. Okay, I'm just roughly telling, okay, or 10,000, something like that. So if you those scrap will be purchased by this dishwasher thing. You use it as cleaning vessels. The scrap that you are getting, that will be converted as the metal scrubber that is being used. Okay, so this scrap goes to that industry. That is the raw material for that industry. Okay, so they will use this scrap. So this sales scrap. Now will you be treating this as revenue from operations or other income? Most of the students will think that the scrap sale is an other income, but that is not the case. What you have to do, it is revenue from operations. You have to take it as revenue from operation. Why? Because it is directly related with your sales, right? It is directly related with your revenue. It is not other income. Is it a part of the operating activity? It is a part of operating activity. Of course it is a part of operating activity. Because of the operation only you generated this scrap. Obviously it should be treated as revenue from operations. Understand the logic correctly. Okay, now what is in other income? What is other income? Other income means those income which is not a part of operating activity of business. It is not a part of operating activity of a business. Say gain profit on sale of vehicle. Is this an operating activity? Are you in the business of selling vehicle? No, you are in this business of production of metal sheet. You are not. So it should be treated, it should be included in which line item? You have the P&L statement. Under that you have revenue from operations. The second heading will be other income. Okay, so it should be included under other income. Deposits. Now just like that they have given deposits. We are assuming that this deposits is public deposits for 5 years. Assuming public deposits for 5 years. Now under what heading you will write? You will write it under long term borrowings. Okay, so you will write it under long term borrowings. Suppose some may get a doubt, deposits, why can't we assume it as bank deposits made by company. If it is bank deposits made by company, then you will take it as, if it is you have to identify whether it is an asset, then it is not, it will not be coming under the liability side at all. It is an asset. You need to identify whether it is a current asset or a non current asset. So you have, if you're taking it 5 years, you have kept a deposit, fixed deposit or something, then you will take it as non current assets. Under, you will write it as other non current assets. Suppose you are assuming it as less than 1 year, you will take it as other current assets. Okay, so other current assets, you will take it in that. Cash in bank is different from deposits in bank. Okay, cash in bank, you will treat it as cash and cash equivalents. Okay, now loss on, next item, the loss on issue of debentures written off. This is a loss on issue, so which means discount on issue. Yes, I told you in the previous class, loss on issue or discount on issue will be taken as other expenses. Okay, next, gratuity payable at the time of retirement. Now we do not know when the person will retire. It is 20 years later or 10 years later, we do not know. So gratuity payable, if we are segregating an amount towards gratuity, then it will be treated as provisions. Okay, now whether it is short term or long term, we do not know. If it is for 10 years, 20 years, it is long term. Okay, at the time of retirement, they say, they have not specifically said that he is going to get retire next year within 12 months. If they say like that, then you take it as short term provision, but as of now it is long term provision because the retirement date is not given. Then workman compensation reserve. Now where will you take it? Reserve, it is a reserve, so reserves and surplus. Carriage paid on sales. Now carriage paid on sales, whatever it is a carriage outward, so it is other expenses. Whether it is an indirect expenses or a direct expenses, anything that no other head takes, then you take it to the other expenses head. Okay, selling and distribution expenses also comes under other expenses, so I'm just writing other expenses. So I hope that this is easy for you to understand how you should write this line items. So you just have to write it, and whatever is the head line item, you have to write it this way. Okay, I have taken another question. Under which line item of the financial statement following items will be shown? Sales, obviously. Revenue from operations. Loss on sale of vehicle, it is other, it is a loss, so other expenses. When it is a profit, you take it to other income. When it is a loss, you take it to other expenses. Debentures, debentures meaning it is long term borrowings, no doubt about it. Which line item? Long term borrowings. Unamortized loss on issue of debentures to be written off within 12 months of the date of balance sheet. Unamortized, which means it is not written off, but it is supposed to be written off. Loss on issue of debentures means what? Discount on issue of debentures. Now if it is this discount, if they have given discount on issue of debentures alone, we will take it to the other expenses. Am I right? But they have given unamortized. So unamortized loss on issue of debentures to be taken as non-current assets. So under non-current assets you will show this. It is unamortized loss on issue of debentures. You have to take the loss, you need to write off the loss to be written off within 12 months of the date of balance sheet. Okay, so it should be taken as non-current assets. So look into this, you will have a clarity. Non-current assets, you have the fixed assets, you have tangible, intangible, capital work in progress, intangible assets under development, non-current investment, deferred tax asset, then long-term loans and advances. You have an item called as other non-current assets. Okay, so this other non-current assets I am going to take you through the elaborate explanation. Okay, so non-current assets are classified into 5 major heads. You have this. Okay, so under we are going to discuss in detail about other non-current assets. So here it is. So other non-current assets, all other non-current assets that do not fall into any of the above categories, that is the various headings that I told you, like non-current investment, deferred tax assets, and then long-term loans and advances. It doesn't fall under the above category. They are called as, they are classified into long-term trade receivables and others. So if at all you have a long-term trade receivables, if it is a in within operating cycle, then we will take it into current assets, trade receivables, no problem. But trade receivables are classified or shown as long-term trade receivables, that is non-current assets, if the amount is receivable after 12 months, from the balance sheet date, or after the period of operating cycle, whichever is later. Say it is within operating cycle, if you are receiving, then you will take it as trade receivables. Beyond operating cycle, if you are receiving, then you will take it to the other non-current assets. Similarly, others, besides trade receivables, there may be other assets such as unamortized expenses. See, unamortized expenses or losses. Now we have here as a unamortized loss. Now can you see this? Unamortized loss on issue of debentures. If there is, they have clearly mentioned here, if there is any unamortized expenses or losses, or insurance claim receivable, or amount due for asset sold, etc. Amount due for asset sold. Okay, we have sold but it is due, then such assets are classified or shown under other non-current assets. It may be recapitulated that share issue expenses, discount on issue of debentures, and loss on issue of debentures are written off in more than one accounting period. Okay, one accounting year. Unamortized expenses or losses that are written off after 12 months from the date of balance sheet, or after the period of operating cycle, whichever is later, are classified or shown as other non-current assets. Hope you are able to understand this clearly. Please, if you are not able to understand, read this part in your textbook. Okay, in my textbook it is page number 1.35. okay, so if there is any unamortized expenses or losses that needs to be written off, because it has to be written off, say for example you have unamortized issue of debentures, discount, the loss on issue of debentures, say 10 lakhs, you have a value of 10 lakhs, it has to be written off every year 1 lakh. So it will take 10 years to write off this 10 lakhs. Am I right? So first year you will be writing off 1 lakh, second year you will be writing off 1 lakh, third year you will be writing off 1 lakh, The remaining amount, if this year, if we are here, we will show this 1 lakh to be, liability, like. But other items and all, it should be shown under assets, other non current assets, because it has to be written off in the later point of time. Now you may ask me why it is shown as asset. See, it is like a preliminary expenses. How you treat preliminary expenses? Any loss that needs to be written off over a period of time, then you will have to treat it as a asset. It is not a real asset. It can be called as a fictitious asset. Okay, fictitious asset is, it is not a real asset, it will go off, it's just been shown. Okay, so in this category, how it will be shown? It will be shown under the head other non current assets. Hope you are able to understand. Leave. Okay, encashable leave payable at the time of retirement. You have this encashable leave payable at the time of retirement. Same concept as gratuity payable at the time of retirement. You will show it as long term provisions. Okay, you need to make provisions for this. Fine. Okay, next one, tax reserves. Obviously, reserves and surplus. Carriage on purchase of stock in trade, other expenses. Telephone and internet expenses, other expenses. Okay, by this we are ending with this chapter. A few more problems need to be discussed. We will be discussing that shortly. Before we conclude, one small concept related to operating cycle that I wanted you to understand. Now look into this definition. Operating cycle, you have to understand this operating cycle. We have some problems related to this. Okay, so first I'm just taking you through the definition given in Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. Operating cycle is the time between the acquisition of an asset for processing and its realization into cash and cash equivalents. I'm repeating, operating cycle is the time gap between what? Asset processing to realization into what? Into cash and cash equivalents. Okay, so the time that is between that is called as what? Operating cycle. If operating cycle cannot be identified, it is assumed to be 12 months. Okay, so look into this diagram. First will be the purchase of raw materials, say held for 3 months. See, you are purchasing raw materials, you are keeping that raw materials into godown for 3 months before it is to be processed. Then you take the raw material. Now don't ask me why it is so, we are just assuming it to be. Okay, so raw materials purchased and processing of raw materials to manufacturing finished goods. So you do some process towards it to make it as a finished good. So processing time is 4 months. Okay, 3 months you are just purchasing the raw materials and you are keeping it in your godown. After 3 months you are using it to your process, and that process will be taken 4 months time. And then you have finished goods held in inventory for 2 months. You have finished this, raw materials is converted into finished goods. That finished goods to be sold will be taking 2 months. So that finished goods will be stored as a stock or inventory in your warehouse. Now after this, finished goods sold and converted to trade receivables. Now there is a credit sales. not cash sales, there is a credit sales. So obviously you are able to convert this into sales, but have you realized cash? The answer is no. You have just sold it as a credit sales. Now say for example, if the credit period is 4 months, obviously after 4 months only the trade receivables will be realized into cash. Okay, so there is some time period that is required for this raw materials to be converted into cash. That time gap is called as operating cycle. Okay, so operating cycle in this case is 3 months plus 4 months plus 2 months plus 4 months. Here it is 13 months. Now what does the definition say? If you are able to identify what is your operating cycle, then go by operating cycle. If you are not able to identify your operating cycle, go by 12 months. This is the definition given. Okay, so operating cycle means the time taken by a company to acquire an asset for processing and converting into cash and cash equivalents. For example, in a manufacturing company, operating cycle for products will be the time taken to purchase raw material, processing it into finished product, selling it and converting it into cash and cash equivalents. In case operating cycle cannot be identified, it is assumed that the business has an operating cycle of 12 months. This para is very important. Please pay attention. The effect of operating cycle is that in case operating cycle is of a period more than 12 months, say 18 months, all liabilities of the business are classified or shown as current liabilities if they are due for settlement within 18 months. So within 18 months you need to, if you have any liabilities to be settled, say for example you need to pay your suppliers within 18 months, because if your operating cycle is 18 months, then within 18 months you have to pay your suppliers, then it will be taken as current liabilities. Okay, suppose if it is to be paid after 18 months, it is to be taken as non-current liabilities. It is not current. Okay, so you for from the date of the balance sheet. So this is very important. If in the problem they have given operating cycle period, then you need to go about with the operating cycle period. If it is not given, well and good, you need to assume 12 months. Okay, don't just blindly go by 12 months. Look into the problem if there is any hint given related to the operating cycle. Suppose for example if the operating cycle is 6 months, then you need to go about within the time gap of 6 months, not 12 months. So whatever is the operating cycle, or 12 months, whichever is early, you need to take. See, operating cycle, if it is 6 months, you take 6 months. Operating cycle is 18 months, you take 18 months. Operating cycle is 13 months, you take 13 months to differentiate whether it will be current or non-current. Hope that this is clear. This concept we will be using to solve problems in the next class. Thank you, class.